Tell us about what was going on in your life just around the time you decided to make that jump. I'm a joint Inglewood family. It's official now. What was going on in your personal life, and how did you make that jump?
Well, I grew up in Inglewood all my life. I went to Warren Lane Elementary. So either my friends, they had cousins or brothers who were involved in the gangs. And after school, we ditching or we going to my friend's house to, to actually look at what I used to call the big homies that was on the block. So that fascinated me. So when they'd give me $1 or they'd give me some words of encouragement or they even acknowledge me, because I was looking for that acknowledgement that I didn't have at that time from a male figure that I needed so much to be from. And I'm not blaming him. It's just that he didn't understand how to be that person in my life because of the conditions that we face in our reality around us in our communities. Before I came out the porch, it happened in stages. And it was a number of things that was transpiring in my life. I think I'm growing up as a young adolescent. My brain's not fully developed. I'm learning different things that I think that I want. I really don't know what I want at this time of my life. I'm looking for somebody to give me that guidance, that male figure to give me that guidance. So I went to the streets. So therefore, it happened in stages. It was first hanging out. Then I'm going to the park. Then I'm going to the girl's house. So I just want to go ditch. And then, then here come the initiation. But then after the initiation, everything else just flowed. Everything else became second nature. What I mean by that is like, okay, I lost the sense of self. What I mean by that is like, once you start understanding the knowledge of self, then you understand that when God raises, he raises to be a human being, not to be like animals. But man, we have degenerated to become like animals. We start becoming like animals in human form. So once I joined the gang life, all the morals and the values and the principles that my grandmother, my mother, my stepfather, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, they installed in me, eventually left. Walls started being built up. This new character that I was building became alive. And then the real me, which was Gregory, became how can I say it? He became a shadow. He became so much of a shadow that I didn't even realize who he was anymore. That when somebody called me Gregory, I got mad. I only wanted to be known as my gang name. I only knew who this person was. I forgot who Gregory was. So I had to learn how to get back to me, because once I lost so much of me in this gang life. Once I jumped off the porch, a little piece of Gregory started going away, and then a little more of Tiny BOUNTRY started adding to my life. So where I no longer seen Gregory no more. It's like a gang system. You know how when you're in a gang, just say you are let's say the god of the game, and you're creating this character. And the more you utilize this character, the more stronger you advance in your game, and the more stronger you will be. And the more I was advancing, I was picking up tools a part of life to make me stronger in this lifestyle, which I became one of the best players.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But it was destructive. That lifestyle meant nothing. It had no value. It had no substance. I was losing myself. I was becoming hollow. To where it took me decades to get to where I am now. And I still need to be better than I am now. I'm better than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I will be better than I am today.
Shout out to Tiny BOUNTRY from Inglewood family, currently serving life in prison for crimes he committed when he was out in the streets. And he said so many good things in this clip. There are so many young people in hoods all over the country who are negatively influenced by the big homies. Why? Because they have no male father figure at home to show them guidance. This is a perfect example of men, black men specifically, needing to stick around and stop leaving their kids out there. So the only influence they have are the big homies. The big homies telling them to do dumb shit that's probably going to lead them to an early grave or prison. BOUNTRY mentioned that due to this, Gregory, which is his real name, Gregory, that persona disappeared, and his character, he called it a character, his character BOUNTRY became stronger and more destructive. That's very powerful. And unfortunately, that's a situation that so many kids are dealing with all over the country. All because, not all because, but mainly because, a lot of the times, because Pops didn't stick around. Pops dropped a little load inside Mom and then bounced. And the only influence a kid has is big such and such across the street. And what does big such and such across the street tell this kid to do? Hey, man, come and take a hit of this, playboy. Come and take a hit of this. Hey, come and pop this. Hey, why don't you go on this little mission for me, little homie? Real spit. Black men, stick around. It's so important. But what do you guys think of this interview so far with BOUNTRY from Inglewood family, who is currently serving life behind bars for crimes he committed when he was out in the streets? If you want to check out the full interview, go right to the description, click on the link in the description, and you can enjoy the full interview with BOUNTRY. It's a great interview, and I highly suggest you check it out if you liked this clip. But I would love your thoughts below. Please comment down below. And please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this clip, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now.
This is Global Tellink. You have a prepaid call from
Michael Casares.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California.
Tell everyone how much time you're currently doing.
I'm serving 24 years for attempted murder.
And how many years have you already been down?
I'm pushing 14 years now.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32.
32 years old.
Young man. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, tell us about yourself and what inspired you to come on the show.
Upon my incarceration, I've just been pursuing higher education, furthering my programs, gaining insight and understanding through SAP, ERP, CGA, NAA, etc. I'm pretty strong-willed. I have a firm belief system. And I just want to make a change and a positive difference in my community now.
Yeah.
What inspired me to get on the podcast actually was, as you know, Thompson, a fellow inmate. He's on a similar path as I am. And I figured there's any opportunity to share my understanding and insight that can help anyone else out there. This ain't it. It's the chance to let anyone who's on a destructive path and risking their freedom just a chance to stop and think about what those consequences look like. Murder, being murdered, paralyzed, hospitalized, life in prison. They're not just words. These are the realities of many, many people, and I just want that to be voiced and taken seriously. That's all.
Yeah. Let's go all the way back. I would love to know a little bit about your upbringing, what that was like, where you grew up, how you grew up, and obviously share as much or as little as you want, as much as you're comfortable with. But, just give us an idea of, where you come from, and we'll lead up to how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Well, I grew up in L.A., Norwalk, the city of Norwalk.
with a single mom. We were very unstable. Gangs is not something that's uncommon in my family. You know, everybody's affiliated and from somewhere. My dad, my biological father, everybody. It wasn't something that was that wasn't too far fetched. So I just thought it was just the normal. I thought that was something that was expected of me. But constantly moving from city to city, county to county. We were always unstable, sometimes homeless. My mom was a very unstable person, which later on made me unstable. And I pretty much started running away, being disobedient, just choosing my own path, choosing to run around with individuals who were just in similar situations like myself. And that quickly led to the wrong choice after wrong choice, and man, before you know it, I was in prison.
What inspired you to change?
Um, I would say that the moment I started gaining knowledge and insight and understanding of this flawed belief system that I used to have, that I adopted as a youth, the more I started educating myself and just being able to striving for more clarity and understanding my ways and the way I think, and just by becoming more in tune with me, the easier it became to just welcome change with open arms. Change is not easy, but it's not impossible, and it didn't happen overnight. It took consistent work, and by zeroing in on all my defects and my traumas and experiences, and just taking a really closer look at me and just trying to undo the many bad habits that I adopted.
What would you tell a kid who's thinking about joining the gang today?
Oh man. Well, I think this question is very, very complicated and complex due to, I guess, the situation of the child. But I would say that I know life isn't easy, and I don't know the cards that life has dealt you, but just most of us, all we want is acceptance, recognition, a form of love, just a sense of belonging. Especially if you're alone or you don't have a positive support system that's consistent. You don't have to find it in the game. Hurt people, and that's all a gang is. Just a group of individuals who have been through the worst that life had to offer them, and turn their pain and struggle and trauma into anger and impulsiveness and hate, and just directed it toward another group of people who are going through the exact same thing. You don't need a moniker or alias to be important. You already are. You just got to find it for yourself.
Hypothetically, if you could speak to a younger you, someone who is just really just starting to get turned up, you know what I mean, or really thinking about starting to get turned up, if you can go back and talk to a younger you, what would you tell them?
I would say, Michael, I know that deep down inside you're hurting, and you're unstable and unbalanced, and you might be feeling alone. Sometimes not being able to trust nobody. But it doesn't got to be like that. Don't pay attention to the things that you don't got in life. Just realize all the things you have to be appreciative. Just find value in life. Find value in yourself. You deserve to be happy, and you gotta really take accountability and pay attention to your actions, and not hurt anyone in the process, because there are consequences.
I felt that. One more question. We have a few more minutes. This is for the youth out there.
Sure.
Drop some words of wisdom to the kids out there. You know what I mean? Not necessarily just the kids who are going down a path that'll lead to prison and the early grave and things like that, but just kids general who may be living in the hood, who, you know, see those guys across the street and they think they look cool, and they, you know, they're thinking about, you know, hanging out with those guys. You know, talk to the youth, give them some words of wisdom on what they should do.
I would say starts with you. You know, it doesn't matter where you live, your environment around you, or whatever it is that you may be going through. You are important. You're capable of achieving anything you want in life. Anything. You know, if you're going through hard times or struggling in life, you're not alone. There's many people who are going through similar situations, sometimes worse. But everything we endure as people, it only builds you up as the man or woman that you're supposed to be later in life. You know, I believe that there are two very important days in everyone's life. It's the day we are born and the day we find our purpose in life. So I say find your purpose, because you got one. I promise you. It starts with you and your perspective.